Hi, it's Nick with Sell My San Antonio House. And I get this question all the time. People are always asking me, well, how do you look at the property that you would like to make a rental or you think you want to? How do you assess the property? And I thought, well, what's a better way than let's just go take a look at one. Here at a property that we're currently renovating, we know it's going to be a rental. So how do we look at this particular project? First thing, let's take a look at our neighborhood and we ran our comps. So what was the value of this house once we fix it up to the market standard? What do we think it'd be worth? Okay, this particular house probably right about 100,000. And then we're also going to look at what's the market rent. Different neighborhoods obviously have different market rents. Here it's a 2-bedroom 1-bath, it's probably 850, 900. So we know about what our numbers are, and then we're going to look at, well, how much we got to pay for the house, and then how much repair does it need. So let's take a look at this house. It wasn't a tough project. It wasn't in really rough shape. We're about 80% done with it, and we'll just take a look at it, see some of the things that we know we had to fix and some of the stuff that we've still got to fix, and see if that helps answer that question about how we're taking a look at these rental properties. Let's give it a shot. Woo. All right. I mean, first things first, we want to always make sure that everything's safe. We're going to change the locks on every single property. I think almost everybody knows that, but let's think about some of the other things that we talk about as far as being safe, right? All of our smoke detectors, we're going to put some new ones in there. What else do we have checked out? We had an electrician come by. Hey, everything looked good, everything looked safe, and then we'll also have him do any work that we need him to do. Also having the plumber come by, check for leaks and fix some things, along with what work do we need to do. All right, now this is not the most expensive property in the neighborhood. It's not going to be the most expensive rental in the neighborhood. So we need to fix it up a little better than what most of the other rentals are going for around here, and that way our property will always be rented. So let's see what we did here. We added some fans. You know, not a huge expense, but much nicer than the little lights that they had in here. We textured, painted, fixed all the sheetrock that was in here. A couple little tips. So they had this stove here, and this stove is just kind of floating out by itself. Added one cabinet and a vent hood. Imagine if you're cooking dinner all the time, there's no way to get rid of any of that smoke that's in here other than opening up the window. Just gives you a much better thing. It's gonna keep your house and your kitchen much cleaner as well. Had one of those really old tile countertops that was all busted up in here. Put in a laminate countertop. Obviously, the work's not totally done here. You can see the blue tape and you can see things that aren't quite done. One little fun tip that I'll tell you is, if you guys have ever seen where they have the faucet that comes straight out of the wall here, this has already been patched and repaired and we moved it. We always change those. They are notorious for leaking. If you haven't seen one, you will. Come straight out. Usually those are straight plumbed in, notorious for having leaks and they cause additional problems. In my opinion, better just to take it out, put in something that more standard. All right. Went ahead and put ceiling fans in all the bedrooms. It just had some lights, and then just your basic, paint, texture, drywall throughout this property. There's blue tape everywhere, so like I said, we're not all the way done. We're putting in some new bathroom lights. A lot of this tile is still good, but it needs to be cleaned up. See, a lot of these things in here can be scraped off and recaulked, and they will look much, much nicer. And then our paint. Still supposed to get another cabinet in here with another faucet. Did not make it, so we'll get that part done. Another thing that we like to do on all the rental properties is go ahead and have them snake the drain, the sewer line. We don't know if there's anything clogged up in here, but it's much better. It's not expensive just to get that knocked out. So we just started making a habit. Anytime the plumber comes in, anytime we got a new property, hey, snake it all the way, make sure we don't have any clogs or blockages, instead of having the people come in, having a problem, and then you already have people in the property. So definitely worth thinking about. Brought you out for another key learning in here. Hopefully you can see this. We got pretty lucky on this one because this water heater is already been replaced and it looks in great shape. But when you see those water heaters that are 18, 20 years old, it's probably gonna be a problem. You gotta make sure you have hot water. If they're that old, I'll go ahead and replace them right out of the gate because they always become a problem, and then you've got a tenant in there, they don't have hot water, not a good situation. You know, other things that we did here, it is pouring down rain, so we're not gonna spend too much time on the outside, but roofer got up there, took a look at it. What did he say? He said, hey, this roof is not fantastic, but you've got a few more years. I don't see anywhere that it's leaking. We can't see inside anywhere that it's leaking. So we're gonna leave that there and try to get a little more life out of it. Other than that, we're just gonna finish up, you know, the rest of this here project. Let's go back to the office, put some numbers together, kind of take a look at how everything's gonna shake out, and then we'll see what you think. All right, now that we're back at the office and we're out of the rain, let's talk about that property a little bit, maybe talk about a couple of the numbers and see what we think. So what do we like about that property? Price was reasonable, feel comfortable with that neighborhood. We know that people like to rent houses in that neighborhood, so we feel confident that we will be able to get it rented, and we have some other rental property in that same area, so we've got some quality tenants, so we feel comfortable with the tenants that we're gonna put in our property. All right, that part all sounds good. We checked our after repaired value, so once we fix it up, we got a pretty good idea what it's gonna be worth, and we've also checked our rent, so we feel good about that part. The other thing we liked about this particular house wasn't a really big rehab. We don't have a problem with buying the big rehab. That's not the big deal, but the less rehab is attractive because we're spending less money, great, but also we can turn that project around much faster, get a tenant in much faster, and now that property is making money for us a lot faster than if we have a 3, 4, or 5 month rehab. So this property, without fixing the roof, realistically, let's call the ARV $95,000. Okay. Our purchase price with closing costs at the end of the day when it shook out was $58,400. So when we added up our GC, right? So that was the guy doing all our paint, sheetrock, etc., general work. Plus, you know, we had the plumber come through there, we had the electrician come through there, we had to buy some materials, we've got insurance, we've got utilities, had to buy some appliances, gonna have to get the property cleaned up. In total, it's about $9,800, okay, for that. So when you take your $58,400 plus your $9,800 to spend on the property, you're gonna end up with $68,200. We know that our bank will let us refi 75% of the appraisal value of the property on a rental property. So we look at this one, then we take our 95,000 times 0.75, it gives us 71,250. But we also have to factor in that 75 count includes the closing cost for refinancing it. So really it's closer to 73%. So we're trying to stay under that number if we can to leave less money sitting in the property. If you do it at 73, then you're 69,350. If we have 68,200 in the property, we feel pretty good about this being a quality deal. Person who sold it, super happy that they were able to sell it to us. We've got another rental property put in the portfolio, so we're happy. Contractors were happy because they got some more work to do, and hopefully we'll put a tenant in there real soon and they'll be happy. I hope this helps. If you guys like it, let me know. If there are things that you think we could answer, that we could do better, feel free to let us know that as well. And if not, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.